the Para Cave podcast, proudly brought to you by Rubbish Removal Kings, The Corner Post, Flash Conveyancing, Parramatta Leagues Club, Wine Barrels Event Hire Sydney, and Wick Coffee, proud sponsors of the Para Cave podcast.
We are Flash Conveyancing, your property legal team, and you're listening the Para Cave podcast. If you are buying or selling property in New South Wales, call us. Call Flash Conveyancing.
Let's go! Welcome back to another show. Hi, how are ya? It's the Para Cave podcast coming at ya. Turn it up, feel the vibe, blue and gold. Step inside the cave. Yeah. Easy try in the corner. Here's your host, Troy Water. Coming to you live from the world famous Para Cave.
Hi, how are ya? Welcome back to the Para Cave podcast. This is the tipping podcast, and this is brought to you by Assure Strata Reports. They are the proud sponsors of the tipping competition in 2026. Ella, hi, how are ya?
Hello, hello, hello.
Oh, that's your new saying, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, nah, fair enough. How are you? Good?
I'm good.
Yeah? Going all right?
Yeah.
Well, you are going all right in the tipping comp, I can tell you that. I think
Yeah.
you're in about 28th spot, I think.
Let
and
me check.
I think you are on about... I
I am on 28.
Yes, and you got 6 correct last weekend. So well done. You got 2 more than me. You are beating me. I am in
Yay.
about 86 spots, so I am struggling. But look, let's make amends for that, and let's get a perfect round this weekend. So... the round kicks off on Thursday. It is the Bulldogs taking on the high-flying Panthers. It is at Assure Stadium in Sydney, the Olympic Stadium. And look, the last time these two sides played was actually at Assure Stadium. It was 46 points to 26. That was the finals week 2. So, look, a lot of time has gone under the bridge between a lot of water has gone under the bridge, I should say, between then and now. So, look, the Panthers in first spot. They are high-flying, 5 in a row. They are on fire. The Bulldogs, they are in 9th spot. So, they're struggling a little bit. But, look, they had a loss last week against the Rabbitohs on Good Friday. Previously to the Knights as well the week before. They beat the Raiders down in Canberra, and they beat the Dragons over in Vegas. But the Panthers, they are high flying. They put 50 on the Melbourne Storm, 48 on the Eels, 40 on the Roosters, 26 on the Sharks, 26 on the Broncos. And look, they have they have 4 in there, 4 and against. They have 150, so they are killing it. Look, to this game here, look, I think congratulations to Nathan Cleary as well. I believe it is his 200th game. So congratulations to Nathan on that one. Look, pretty much the same side that defeated the Storm 50 points to 10. So the only change I can think of and see is Mitch Kenny comes back into the hooker position after his 1-match suspension, which I did not agree with, but we won't go there. Freddie Lussick goes back to the number 19 jersey on the 19-man bench. Isaac Tungo is 18th as well. He hasn't got any first grade this year, so could he be on the move? Who knows? But the Bulldogs, they look pretty strong as well. Bronson Xerri, he has been named at number 4. Now, I do say that is because of Stephen Crichton's injury and he is out. So, look, that is the logical change for them. They probably should have done that against the the Rabbitohs last week when Crichton came off early in that second half. Bronson Xerri should have probably went on. Would have saved a lot of time, a lot of effort in changing positions. But Matt Burton, 5'8", Lockie Galvin, halfback. So a few former Panthers playing against them. Obviously, Viliami Kikau, Jamin Salmon. Who else we got? Obviously, Matt Burton as well, playing against the old enemy, I guess you could say, their former teammates, which will be interesting. But look, I think I'm probably going to agree with you, Ella, on this one. I am going the Panthers. Who are you going?
The Panthers.
Yeah, look, I think they will just be too strong. I know one of my mates, Stephen Shields, he'll be happy that I'm tipping the Panthers this week. Dragons and Sea Eagles is a 6 o'clock game down in Wollongong. The Dragons, unfortunately, are still looking for their first win of the season. The Sea Eagles, they got their first win of the season last week against the Dolphins, high-flying 50 points on the Dolphins. So pretty good for the Sea Eagles under new coach Kieran Foran. Jason Saab comes back into the side. That is great news for the Sea Eagles to add a little bit more speed into this team, which is great. Homoli Olakatuatu, he was on fire last week. He was one of the players of the game. And still no Joey Walsh. He is number 20. A lot of talk about him. But it may not be the right time for him at the moment. For the Dragons, well, Kyle Flanagan comes back into the halfback spot after having last week off due to that heavy concussion he had against the Titans a couple of weeks ago. So he is back into the halfback role. Daniel Atkinson moves back to 5'8". Other than that, Tyrell Sloan is the fullback with Clint Gutherson injured, so he is out. I'm not too sure how long Clint is out for, but Tyrell Sloan is back in the team, so a lot of Dragons fans will be happy about that one. That is for sure. So look, they are under a lot of pressure at the moment to get their first victory of the season. They are playing down in Wollongong. They do love playing down in Wollongong, although the last time they played was at Jubilee Stadium anyway, so that was 40 points to 24 in favour of the Sea Eagles. That was last season. So, look, that was last season, and the Dragons actually beat the Sea Eagles at Brookvale Oval 20 points to 18. So one win apiece last season. But look, I've had faith in the Dragons in a couple of weeks, couple of tippings, but tipping them a couple of times this year, but I can't see it happening. They probably will do a boil over, but I'm going to go the Sea Eagles. Ella, what about yourself? Who are you going?
I'm going the Sea Eagles.
Okie dokie. Well, we're 2 from 2 with the same teams at the moment, so we may get the same score this week. Brisbane, Suncorp Stadium is the venue for the next game on Friday night. The Broncos are in 8th, the Cowboys are in 7th, Queensland Derby. I think they play for the 4X Cup. I could be wrong about this one, but the 4X Cup I think it is. But anyway, some big injuries obviously for the Brisbane Broncos. Look, Adam Reynolds has been named as halfback and captain. He was, I think, injured last week, so he is named to play. But the big ones are Ben Hunt and Reece Walsh. So Jesse Arthurs replaces Reece Walsh in the halfback spot, and Blake Moser comes into that 14 jersey. So, look, a bit of a couple of changes there for them. Josiah Karapani on the wing, Dean Mariner on the other wing. For the Cowboys, Sam McIntyre is out. But look, other than that, they have a winning side. They have, I think, three from their last 3, as are the Broncos. Now, the Broncos defeated, I guess you could say, little brother, the Titans last week, and the Dolphins. So they'll be going for the trifecta of Queensland teams and trying to beat the Cowboys. So they are 3 from 5 at the moment, same as the Cowboys as well. So, look, there's a lot of points I think will be scored in this game. The Broncos got away with the win up in Townsville last season, 38 points to 30, and then the first game they played at Suncorp, it was 26 points to 16. So, look, a couple of big outs for the Broncos. Can the Cowboys keep that momentum going? I don't know. It will be interesting, that is for sure. I mean, the completion rates are very similar. The Cowboys 77, the Broncos 74. Average points scored 24 for the Cowboys, 20 for the Broncos. Average points conceded 22 for the Cowboys, 20 for the Broncos. So look, very, very similar. So look, I think the Broncos can get the trifecta of wins against Queensland sides. Ella, who are you tipping in the Queensland derby?
The Broncos.
Yeah, okay. Well, there we go.
At this point, you're copying my tip.
Well, are you copying mine?
No,
I'll tell you what. I'll let you go for the first one next time.
I'll see if you copy me.
Yeah. Well, maybe I will. Maybe I won't. But the exciting thing about these next two games is they are over at Optus Stadium in Perth. 3 p.m. I think that's Eastern Standard Time. I think it's about 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock over there in the west. So someone will tell me if I'm right or I'm wrong. But the Rabbitohs, they're in 4th, up against the Raiders. They're in 16th. They have been struggling in this game being played at Optus Stadium in Perth, which is great. They usually have a doubleheader over there every year. And next year they will have their own team, the Perth Bears. Brandon Smith returns to the hooking spot for the Rabbitohs, which is great news. Jai Gray, he's going all right there at fullback. Why would you move him? Cody Walker, Jamie Humphries. Yeah, they're looking pretty solid at the moment, the Rabbitohs. They are playing some good footy. The Rabbitohs, they've won their last 2 games, including that big Good Friday win against the Bulldogs. The Raiders they got that 1 point golden point victory in round 1, but then have lost the next 4 to the Warriors, Bulldogs, Sharks and Knights. So look, they are desperate for a win. Will a win in the West come? I don't know. They are struggling, but look, last year they met only the one time. It was a 36 points to 12 victory to the Raiders. It was different sides then. Cameron Murray was out for the year. Jamal Fogarty was the halfback for the Raiders. But look, great to see footy over there in the West. Ella, I'm going to let you go first on this one. Who are you going for in this one? Who are you tipping?
I'm going the Rabbitohs.
Guess what?
You're going the Rabbitohs.
Yeah, I'm going to go the Rabbitohs as well.
This is proof.
Well, you're doing better than me in the tipping comp, so I've got to do something for this one. But the next game at Optus Stadium after that one is 5:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, and the Roosters take on the Sharks. The Sharks are the home side in this one. The Sharks are in 6th spot. The Roosters are in 10th spot at the moment. Look, the Roosters, they had the bye last week over Easter, but they got a win over the Sea Eagles at Brookvale. The Sharks, they got a win over the Warriors at home and the Raiders down in Canberra. So they'll be confident they can get another win. Even though this is their home game, it is over in Perth. So look, the Sharks can score a lot of points. The Roosters not so much. Very similar points conceded for both sides, 118 for the Sharks, 116 for the Roosters. So defence is about the same, just that the Sharks have got a bit more, scored more points in attack. Going to their sides, Jesse Ramian is out. Hiroti replaces him in the centres, and for the Roosters, Billy Smith is out, and Hugo Savala has been named at centre for the Roosters. So good to see him get some playing time for the Roosters. I'm not too sure if he's played this year. I could be wrong. I probably am because I don't follow the Roosters. I do watch a lot of rugby league though each week, and I just haven't seen him play. So centre for Hugo Savala, so another kicking option for the Roosters there. Look, this one should be an interesting game as well. Both finalists from last year. Last year, it was they did play in finals actually. It was 20 points to 10, a win in week 1 of the finals to the Sharks. That was at Shark Park, and then the previous meeting to that, it was again at Shark Park. It was 31 to 18 in favour of the Sharks. But this one is over in Perth, over there in WA. Ella, who are you tipping in this one?
I'm going the Sharks.
Okay, well, you know what? I'm going to go the Roosters in this one. I think they can bounce back for a victory. They had the week off last week.
This is legendary. You're not copying me. This is legendary.
Yes, well, I think they can bounce back and get a victory, I think. Only time will tell. So no games in Sydney on Saturday because the last game on Saturday night, 7:35pm, is down in Melbourne at Amy Park. And it is the Warriors who are travelling there. The Storm, obviously the home team. They are in 11th spot, so they have had 3 straight losses in this season after starting the season with 2 straight wins. They got 50 points scored on them last week against the Panthers, so that necessarily tells you that they cannot win the comp this year because of that 50-point curse. The Warriors, they've had a bit of a stumble the last couple of weeks. They've had 2 losses in a row. They went down to the Sharks, as I mentioned previously in the previous game, between the Sharks and Roosters, but then they also went down to the Tigers, 32 points to 14 at home. So a bit disappointing for them as well to go down at home. This game last year, they only played once. It was a 42 points to 14 victory to the Melbourne Storm. 7 tries to 3 there. Xavier Coates getting a double. He isn't playing this year. He is still out injured. Luke Metcalf, he is out for the Warriors. Chanel Harris-Tavita comes into that 5/8 spot. Tanner Boyd, he's had a couple of quiet weeks, I think, after setting the world on fire. He'll have to get back to that. Jackson Ford, I think, is still leading the Dally M's up there. Another road trip for the Warriors, 2 in a row after starting the season all at home. So very interesting there. Ella, who are you tipping in this one?
In this one, I'm going the Warriors.
The Warriors, the away side. Okay, well, I'm going to go the Storm in this one. I just don't think they can lose 4 games in a row. But it is rugby league. You just never know what's going to happen. So I am going the Storm in that one. Sunday, 2 p.m, another game at Combank Stadium for the Parramatta Eels, who see themselves in 14th spot on the ladder. Unfortunately, the Titans are in 15th spot. Sunday, 2 p.m. Now, a couple of changes for the Eels with their mounting injury toll that they do have at the moment. Araz Nanva, he comes onto the wing to make his debut, I believe, for the Eels, for Bailey Simonson. Will Penasini, he comes back from injury, a groin injury. He comes back into the centre position. Ronald Volkman comes in for Jonah Pezzett. And obviously Sean Russell is having the week off as well with that HIA that he suffered in the game against the Tigers on Easter Monday. Pretty similar side to what played last week for the Titans against the... who'd they play last week? I don't know who they played last week. They played the Broncos. They went down to them. They were pretty spirited. They played alright, but just didn't get the victory. They did defeat the Dragons before that, 22 points to 14. The Eels went down 22 points to 20 in Golden Point to the Tigers on Easter Monday and got flogged by the Panthers 48 points to 20 before that. So this is their fourth game at CommBank Stadium in a row, so it is pretty crucial that they get a victory, especially playing all these games at CommBank Stadium, even if you are the away team. But this is not the case this time. They are the home team. It'll be interesting to see how these players go that come into this side. I think Dylan Walker, I should say, he's still at the starting lock position. I would prefer to see him come off the bench. Maybe Luke Moretti could go in at. Maybe Charlie Geimer could go into the lock position, maybe, and Dylan Walker could go back to the bench. I just think he adds that spark off the bench. So that's not the way Coach Jason Riles has gone. So we'll just have to wait and see. Look, I think there could be a lot of points scored in this game. Last year, it was only the one meeting at CommBank Stadium. 36 points to 20. The Eels got the victory. Will Penasini actually got a double, so he might be a special to get a try or two this weekend against the Titans. So, Ella, who are you going to tip in this one? The Eels are favourites, and the Titans are just below them on the ladder. So, who are you tipping in this one?
This is a bit surprising, but I'm going the Eels.
Oh, good choice. Good choice. I like it. I'm going the Eels as well to get this win, a much-needed win to get back up the ladder. This last game on Sunday at Campbelltown Sports Stadium in Sydney, 4:05 p.m. That gave it away. It is the second-placed West Tigers taking on the third-placed Newcastle Knights. Now, in previous years, this would be these two sides would be down the bottom of the ladder, but this year they are surprising a lot of people, and they are second and third on the ladder. So, look, great for them, that is for sure. Look, they're playing some entertaining football. It's very interesting the way they play. Still no Dylan Brown or Caleb Ponga for the Newcastle Knights, but hey, who needs them? They are playing good footy. Dane Gagai, he's turning back the clock. Fletcher Sharp at 5'8". Sandon Smith stepping in at halfback as well. Dylan Lucas in the second row there. So they are playing some good footy. The Tigers as well, they are playing good footy. They're getting the wins. Unfortunately against my Eels last week, and they got the win against the Warriors the week before. Jock Madden has stepped into that 5'8" role with Jerome Luai still injured, and he's playing alright at the moment, so he's holding down that spot. Kai Pearce-Paul playing against his old club, so this could be the Kai Pearce-Paul Cup, perhaps, playing against his old club. So we all know what players do when they play against their old club. They generally step it up a little bit. So, look, the Tigers got the win last year, 20 points to 4. It was up at Newcastle. They got the win in front of a healthy crowd, 25,000. But the other game, I think it was the start of the season. I think it could have been round number 1. It was a win to the Newcastle Knights, 10 points to 8. That game also played at Campbelltown, but that time it was only 13,160. I dare say they will probably sell this one out, to be honest. I think there'll be a massive crowd there for this one. This will be probably the game of the round, I reckon. This one will be really one to watch. Ella, who are you tipping in this one? This one could go either way. I do not know which one to tip, but it could go either way. Who are you going?
In this one, I'm going the West Tigers.
Okay, you're going the Tigers. Who am I going to go? Look, the Tigers beat Parramatta last week. I'll tip the Tigers. How's that?
Okay.
All right.
Interesting.
I've done. I've tipped the Tigers, and the Dolphins, they have the bye this weekend, which will be coming handy for them. So, Ella, would you like to recap your tips for this weekend, round number 6?
Yes. I went the Panthers, the Sea Eagles, the Broncos, the Rabbitohs, the Sharks, the Warriors, the Eels, and the West Tigers.
And my tips for this week, I went the Panthers, Sea Eagles, Broncos, Rabbitohs, Roosters, Storm, Eels, Tigers. So there you go. There's my tips, but don't worry about following me. I might follow Ella. Might want to follow Ella's tips. She's doing better than me in the tipping comp. So there's my tips. There's Ella's tips for round number 6. Look, enjoy your footy across the weekend. Some cracking games there. But look, I think that Tigers Knights game could possibly be the game of the round this weekend. But look, there's a Queensland derby. There's a couple of games over in Perth. There's the Bulldogs and Panthers to kick it off as well. So enjoy your football over the weekend. Hope you get a good score in the tipping comp. Not as good as me. I hope I get a perfect round and jump up that tipping ladder. As I said before, the tipping comp proudly sponsored by Assure Strata Reports. The Para Cave podcast, by the fan, for the fans.
Bye.
Go Para!
Thanks for listening to another episode